Alright, Mekovanen everyone, welcome back to another Let's Play of Fighting Fantasy, The Forest of Doom. So I'm going to try this again. By the way, it is August 21st, 2024. I've been wanting to get back to this. I felt like, I was making good progress the last time I played this. Except I was killed by that ape. I made the mistake and tried to fight it in the trees, which is its native, native environment. Okay, let us play it. I know all of this already. You have chosen the adventurer difficulty. Before continuing, you must calculate your initial stamina. Okay, let's do all that. Okay, that seems like that's okay. That's good. Roll for skill. Oh, that seems bad. This is very bad rolls. In addition to your other starting equipment, you may take one bottle of a magical potion, which aid you on your quest. Each potion contains enough for one measure, so use it wisely. Potion of skill and strength will fully restore your skill or stamina points respectively. Which potion will you take on your quest? Let's go with strength. You begin your adventure with a sword, leather armor, and a backpack containing provisions, food and drink to sustain you during the journey ahead. Rationing your provisions is key to a successful adventure. They may be consumed at any time, excluding combat, by accessing the adventure sheet. Each meal restores 4 stamina. Be sure to pay close attention to your stamina and restore it regularly. Your difficulty setting determines how many provisions you begin with. Adventurers and free readers start with 10, while hardcore 3. Okay. Once you have readied your equipment, you may begin. Let us begin. You are an adventurer, a sword for hire, and you have been roaming the northern borderlands of your kingdom, having always spurned the dullness of village life. You now wander the lands in search of wealth and danger. Despite the long walks and rough outdoor life, you are content with your unknown destiny. The world holds no fear for you as you are a skillful warrior. Skill or well practiced in the art of slaying evil people and beasts with your trusty sword. Not once during the last 10 days since entering the northern borderlands have you set eyes upon another person. This does not worry you at all, as you are happy with your own company and enjoy the slow, sunny days hunting, eating and sleeping. It is evening, and having feasted on a dinner of rabbit, spit roasted on an open fire, you settle down to sleep beneath your sheepskin blanket. There's a full moon, and the light sparkles on the blade of your broadsword skewered into the ground by your side. You gaze at it, wondering when you will next have to wipe the blood of some vile creature from its sharp edge. These are strange lands, inhabited by weird and loathsome beasts, goblins, trolls, and even dragons. As the flame of your campfire gently dies, you begin to drift asleep, and images of screaming, green-faced trolls flicker through your mind. Suddenly, in the bushes to your left, you hear the loud crack of a twig breaking under a clumsy foot. You leap up and grab your sword from the ground. You stand motionless but alert, ready to pounce on your unseen adversary. when you hear a groan, followed by the dull thud of a body falling to the ground. Is it a trap? Slowly you walk over to the bush where the noise is coming from and carefully pull back the branches. You look down to see a little old man with a great bushy beard, his face contorted with pain. You crouch down to remove the iron helmet covering his balding head and notice two crossbow bolts protruding from the stomach of his plump, chainmail-clad torso. Picking him up, you carry him over to the fire and stir the dying embers into life. After covering him with the sheepskin blanket, you manage to get the old man to drink a little water. He coughs and moans. He sits up rigid, eyes staring fixatedly ahead, and starts to shout, I'll get them, don't you fear. Gillibrand, Big Leg is coming to bring you the hammer. Oh yes, indeed I am. Oh yes, the dwarf whose name you presume to be Big Leg is obviously delirious from the poison-tipped bolts lodged in his stomach. Okay. You watch as he slumps down again to the ground, then whisper his name in his ear. As he slumps down again to the ground, then whisper his name. Why would I do that? His eyes stare unblinkingly at you as he again starts to shout. Ambush, look out, ambush. The hammer, take the hammer to Gillibrand, save the dwarves. His eyes half close, and the pain seems to ease a little, and as the delirium subsides, he speaks to you again in a low whisper. Help us, friend, take the hammer to Gillibrand. Only the hammer will unite our people against the trolls. We are on our way to Darkwood in search of the hammer, ambushed by the little people, others killed. The map in my pouch will take you to the home of Yastromo, the master mage of these parts. He has great magics for sale to protect you against the creatures of Darkwood. Take my gold. I beg you to find the hammer and take it to Gillibrand, my lord of Stonebridge. Hearing that name Stonebridge makes me feel like I want to play a Dungeon Siege again, right? I like that game. You will be well rewarded. Big Leg opens his mouth to start another sentence, but nothing comes out except his last dying breath. You sit down and ponder Big Leg's words. Who is Gillibrand? Who is Yastromo? What is all the fuss about the dwarvish hammer? You reach over to the still body of Big Leg and remove the pouch from the leather belt around his waist. Inside you find 30 gold pieces, and a map. Jingling the coins in your hand, you think of the possible rewards which may await you just for returning a hammer to a village of dwarves. You decide to try and find the hammer in Darkwood Forest. It's been a few weeks since your last good battle, and, what is more, you are likely to be well paid for this one. With your mind made up, you settle down to sleep, having taken back the sheepskin blanket from poor Big Leg. In the morning you bury the old dwarf and gather up your possessions. You examine the map, look up to the sun, and find your bearings. Whistling merrily, you head off south at a good pace, eager to meet this man, Yastromo, and see what he has to offer. You walk to Yastromo's. Your walk to Yastromo's takes a little over half day, and you arrive at a stone tower, dirty and hungry. As the tower is set back on the edges of the Darkwood, some 50 meters from the path you have been following, it is difficult to find. Finally, you walk up the huge oak door, somewhat relieved to find that it does exist, and that Big Leg had not been speaking wildly in his delirium. A large brass bell and gong hang from the stone archway. As you ring the bell, a shiver runs down your spine, and you realize that the loud bong invades a deep silence which you had not noticed before. There are no sounds of birds or animals to be heard. You wait anxiously at the door and hear slow footsteps descending the stairs from the tower. A small wooden slot in the door slides open, and two eyes appear and examine you. "Well, who are you?" demands a grumpy voice through the hole. You answer that you are an adventurer in search of the master mage Nostromo, intending to purchase magical items from him to combat the creatures of Darkwood Forest. "Oh, well, in that case, if you are interested in buying some of my merchandise, you had better come up. I'm Nostromo." And then he turns and slowly climbs the stone stairs. Will you follow him up the stairs? Draw your sword. No, I would follow him for now. You follow the huffing and puffing old man in his tattered robes up the spiral staircase to a large room at the top of the tower. Shelves, cupboards, and cabinets line the walls, all filled with bottles, jars, weapons, armor, all manner of strange artifacts. Nostromo shuffles past the general clutter, slumps down in an old oak chair. He reaches into his top pocket and pulls out a fragile pair of gold-rimmed spectacles. Placing these on his nose, he picks up a piece of slate and chalk from a table next to his chair and begins to write frantically. He then hands you the slate. Okay, you know what? I think last time I recall coming across this raven, and I know ahead of time that this raven said he needs exactly 30 gold to be transformed back into a human. I cannot remember now his tale of how he was transformed to a raven, this man, but I think maybe he pissed off a witch or something and turned him into that, and then now Nostromo said it would take 30 gold to pay him to transform him back. Or maybe it could have been that maybe he pissed off Nostromo and he turned him into, or maybe owed him money or something. So he tells you that all the instructions for use are written clearly on the labels attached to the items together. Fortunately, the magic in the items works once, but they are best you can buy for the money. Then asks you to reason for the purchase of the items, and you'll tell him your story and your decision to continue the quest of the luckless big leg. "Ah, yes," Nostromo says slowly, rubbing his chin. "I heard that the good dwarves of Stonebridge had lost the fabled warhammer. Without it, their king is unable to arouse his people, despite the fact that the hill trolls threaten his village. Rumor has it that an envious king of another village of dwarves sent an eagle to Stonebridge to steal the hammer, which it managed to do. But as it flew over the dark wood, it was attacked by dark hawks, and the hammer dropped into the forest and was lost. Apparently, two forest goblins found the hammer, but could not decide who was to keep it. They wrestled for hours, but gave up. Then they discovered that the handle unscrewed from the head, and the argument was settled. Once kept the head, the other kept the handle, then departed, each happy with his new treasure. Who knows if they still have them? So I'm afraid your problems are doubled. I can tell you that the head is made of bronze and the handle is made of polished ebony. Both head and handle have the letter G inscribed on them. Your task is not easy. Good luck." You thank Nostromo and leave the room by the spiral staircase. So I'm not going to buy a thing. Outside in the bright light, you notice the dead quietness again. A narrow path leads northwards from the tall grass surrounding Nostromo's tower into the dense undergrowth of Darkwood Forest. In a few strides, you are surrounded by the dark and tangled forest. Stones and knotted roots seem to hide in the shadows. You can almost believe they are trying to trip you up. The light fades quickly and the air becomes moist and unpleasant. Deeper and deeper you go into the gloom. Eventually the path forks either side of a huge old tree. Oh fuck, I don't remember which way I went, but let's go west. The narrow overgrown path continues to weave its way through the crowded forest. Strange animal cries echo through the trees. It's not long before you arrive at another junction. If you wish to turn or to continue westward, turn to 76. Okay, just continue westward. Is this the bird? The path turns suddenly to the right and proceeds northwards into the dense undergrowth. Suddenly off the path to your left you hear cries of help. You wish to go to aid of the people in trouble. Turn to, okay? If you'd rather ignore the cries, continue your journey north. I'll aid the people. The person. Clambering over the gnarled roots of the old trees, you head in the direction of the cries. After a few minutes, you see a man dressed in long dark robes with his foot caught in a rusted rabbit snare. His face is masked by the robes and only his dark brown eyes are visible. If you want to help the man free his foot from this snare, decide against helping him, return to the path and head north. His face is covered up. He cried out, "Ow." Guess I'll try to help him. You wedge your sword between the jaws of the snare and pull it like a lever. The robed stranger adds his strength, and finally the snare springs open. He thanks you over and over again and explains that he is in the forest looking for his long-lost brother, who he thinks is living the life of a hermit somewhere in the depths. Together you scramble over the roots of the trees of the path to the path, and you ask him to accompany you north, but he politely declines, saying that he believes his brother lives to the south. You shake hands and bid each other farewell. Thinking about the robed stranger, you feel a little uncomfortable. There was something about his manner that you did not trust. You stop to take a look in your backpack and are annoyed to find your small bag containing your gold is missing. You are in two minds whether or not to run after the thief, but you sense that he will not be where he said he was going. You curse and start off north again. So I have no more money anyways. Walking along the twisting path, you see a small sinewy creature with brown scaly skin. Could this be a kobold? Sitting on a log to the right of the path. He has a sullen expression on his face as he slowly tosses a black shiny rod on a leather cord back and forth between his hands. He might be one of the goblins you are looking for. Will you draw your sword and attack? Try to start a conversation with the goblin. Ignore him. Okay, he's a goblin. As you raise your sword to make the first blow, the creature starts to metamorphose before your eyes. He becomes taller and turns green. A large spiny tail extends from his back, and his arms thicken, and his hands grow sharp claws. Could it? Oh, shape changer. His face distorts and becomes reptilian with red eyes, wide mouth housing dozens of razor-sharp teeth. He's not a goblin, but a shape changer. You must fight. How can I look into my inventory right now? I guess I cannot. I have good hit points though. Both miss. Okay, I'm going to have to start using my luck. triumphant. Why did it seem like when I was using my luck he was healing? I don't quite understand that. As you raise your okay, I won, so you slump onto the log, exhausted after your long battle. Sadly, the black rod was just part of the shape changer's illusion, and it exists no more. However, you notice some violet mushrooms growing behind the log. They are unfamiliar to you, but look tasty. I better heal up. How do I... I should have referred to this. Talking crow shit. I thought I had a little bit of food, you know. Oh, that's right, I can do that. You know. Provisions. Use it. Okay, good. Okay, that is very good. I would rather continue north. The path continues north, and you soon reach another junction. If you wish to continue north, or turn east. Okay, I don't know if I can... It doesn't matter, I don't have my gold anymore. I'll just continue north. The path leads ever northwards, but at last the trees are beginning to thin out and appear less menacing as daylight streams through between them. On the right-hand side of the path you see an old oak chair covered with moss. If you have provisions and you wish to sit in the chair to rest and eat, well, I should have done that, but instead of just eat my food, but it's okay. If you would rather press on northwards, let's do that. The path eventually emerges from the trees to a vast plain. Beyond you see rising ground leading to low hills. The waist-high grasses on either side of the path sway gently in the warm breeze. All is peaceful and the dangers ahead seem unimportant. You are enjoying your walk when suddenly the silence is broken by the sound of squealing and grunting to the right of the path. You can see a path being made through the grass by an unseen beast moving quickly toward you. You draw your sword in readiness. A few yards ahead of you, a large brown pig-like creature bursts out of the path and halts there. It has two long tusks protruding from it. Could it be a boar or a warthog? From a wild boar, stubby snout. Steam rises into the air from its sweating body. Its small eyes look at you before it puts its head down to charge at you. It is a wild boar. Good. Now will this get added to my food? I have 8 provisions. Let's see. No. As you draw your sword from the carcass of the wild boar, you wonder what made it attack you. In the distance, you hear the sound of barking dogs. Perhaps it was being hunted, and being trapped made its last stand against you. Through the nose of the boar, you see a large gold ring, which you cut loose and place in your backpack. It is worth 10 gold pieces. You gain luck, 1 luck, for your good fortune. Walking north, you soon arrive at a junction in the path. I'll just keep going north. As you walk further northwards across the plain, the grass gradually becomes shorter and the grass starts to rise gently. Ahead, you hear the roar of crashing water. Soon you reach the bank of a wide river split on 2 levels. To your right, the water is calm and slow-moving, but in front of you, it tumbles noisily down a waterfall to a gorge below, where the river narrows and runs quickly west over rocks and boulders. Steps lead down by the side of the waterfall to the bottom of the gorge, although it is difficult to see where they end because the spray thrown up. Across the river, you see the path heading north in the distance. A small wooden boat is tied to a post to your right where the river is calm. Will you walk down the steps to the base of the waterfall, row the wooden boat across the river? Walk down the steps. Let's do that. You walk down the slippery stone steps to the bottom of the waterfall. You look up and see a magnificent rainbow reflected in the spray. It is dark in the gorge and impossible to see through the wall of water where the steps end. If you wish to walk through the sheet of water, climb back. Oh, let's try walking through. Why not? Maybe I'll find some booty. You walk along the steps through the waterfall into a large cavern where there's a pool of still water. You know, I have to start making up for that coin I lost. Was stolen. The steps run around the side of the pool, and there's a stone table and chair on the far side. You go to the table and see fish scraps lying on it. Suddenly, you hear a noise of splashing behind you. A strange creature climbs out of the pool and advances towards you, armed with a trident. His legs are like a man's, but his face and torso resemble a large green fish with bulbous eyes. His arms are like yours, but are covered with large scales. He is a fish man, and you must fight him. There's nothing of use or value in the fishman's cave, so you walk around to the north side wall. Steps lead back through the waterfall and up the north wall of the gorge to the top. You are at the foot of some hills and can see the path climbing up into the midst in the north. It is getting dark and night is closing in, so you decide to camp behind some rocks to the right of the path. You build a large fire and settle down to sleep with your sword by your side. You have been asleep for an hour when the noise of deep growling wakes you up. You stand up without making a noise and grab your sword. You wait and listen. There is a full moon in the sky and the light casts eerie shadows all around. You hear soft footsteps and sniffling, followed by another low growl. Then a shape which looks like a man steps out of the shadows to your right. As he gets closer, you see the chest, arms and face are covered with thick brown hair and long teeth protrude from his mouth. He is a werewolf. That is a werewolf? Well, I suppose so. I think I am fucked. Oh, that was not bad. I'm sure it was lucky this time. Oh, fuck. Can I still go back? Okay. Your luck is calculated by rolling one die and adding 6 to the number. How naturally lucky a person you are. Alright, alright. Hopefully this means I get good luck when rolling. So I got an 8, 6, okay, unlucky. The wound is worse than you thought. I really don't understand that. I really need to hit him critically. Hurt. Overcome by your enemies. The werewolf killed me. You are dead. You have been beaten by Darkwood Forest, the Forest of Doom. Well, that's the way it goes. I lost again. Okay, guys, that's it. I hope you all enjoyed. You know, I'll be playing this every so often, and maybe one of these times I'll win. Or at least have an ending that's not so bad, or an ending where I live and it's, you know, decent ending at least. Okay,